So let's talk about functions for just a minute. Let's say that I have some function f of a that's equal to 2a divided by 6. And I have some function g of b that's equal to 3b squared. Can I tell what f of 2 is? The way that I calculate f of 2 is wherever in my original equation I find the value a, I'm going to replace it with this value 2. I see that there is an a here, so I can replace it with a 2. And this is going to give me 4 divided by 6, or if I reduce it, I'm going to get 2 divided by 3. So let's try it with my g of b. What if I wanted to know what g of 9 was? Anywhere that I find in my g function the value of b, I'm going to replace it with the value of 9. So this is going to be 3 times 9 squared, which is going to give me 9 times 3 is 81. 3 times 81 is 243. If I wanted to know what g of 10 was, all I have to do is replace the b with the 10. Now I'm going to have 3 times 10 squared, and this is going to give me 3 times 100, which is going to be 300. What if I wanted to know what g of x was? Exactly the same. I'm going to replace the b value in my equation with an x. So this is going to be x squared, or 3 times x squared. But let's talk about composite functions. How about the composite function f of g? F of g, given my original f, let me write it up here, given my original f equation, which is 2a divided by 6, and my original g equation, I'll say g of b, given 3b squared, and this would be f of x. What is f of g of, let's say for instance, 3? F of g of 3. This is a composite function, and it can be rewritten as f of g of 3. Well, I'm going to have to find out what g of 3 is, which means that I'm going to need to take my g, and g of 3 is going to be 3. I'm going to replace the value of b with my 3, and now I'm going to have 3 squared. So this is going to be 3 times 9, which is going to give me 27. All right, so now that I know that g of 3 is 27, and here is my g of 3, I'm going to say that is equal to f of 27. Well, I now have an f equation, which is 2a divided by 6. And so wherever I find the a in my original f, I'm going to replace it with 27. So 2 times 27 is 54, divided by 6 is equal to 9. So we'll see that f of g of 3 is equivalent to the number 9. So let's try another one. What if I say, given the same f of x and the same g of b, what if I wanted to know what f of g 15 was? Well, I'm going to rewrite this as f of g of 15, which means that I need to find out what g of 15 is. So g of 15, I'm going to take my g equation, b, or 3b squared, and wherever I find the value of b, I'm going to replace it with 15. So this is going to give me 3 times 15 squared is 225, and 3 times 225 is 675. So this is what my g of 15 equals. And so I'm going to take that 675 and I'm going to plug it back into my f. So now I have f of 675. So my f value is 2. 675 divided by 6. Well, 2 times 675 is 1350, and I'm going to divide that by 6, and I am going to get 225. So I see that we said that f of g of 3 is equal to 9. I want to know if f of g of 3 is equivalent to g of f of 3. Do you think that those same two values, or that those will equal the exact same value? Well, let's come down here and let's see if we can figure out what g of f of 3 is, and see if it equals the f of g of 3. I'm going to have to remind myself of what those two equations were. So I know that f of a is equal to 2a divided by 6, and g of b was equal to 3b squared. So this is going to become g of f of 3? Well, I'm going to have to figure out what f of 3 is. So f of 3 is going to be 2. Wherever I find the a, I'm going to replace it with the 3, and I'm going to divide it by 6. This is going to give me 6 divided by 6, which is 1. So I'm going to take this 1 value and I'm going to put it back into my g. So now I'm going to have g of 1. Well, g of 1 is going to give me 3 times 1 squared. And this is 3 times 1, which is 3. So my g of f of 3 is 3, but my f of g of 3 was 9. So those two are not equivalent. So the last one that I want to talk about with composite functions is, what if I had g of f of, let's say, the letter r. G of f of r. How am I going to calculate that? We're going to do it exactly the same way. I'm going to say this becomes g of f of r. I need to find out what f of r is. So I'm going to say that f of r, I'm going to take my 2, and this, instead of a, I'm going to replace it with r over 6. So I'm going to have 2r divided by 6. This is the value that is going to go into my g. So now I have g of 2r divided by 6. So if I go back to my original g, wherever I found the b, I am going to put 2r divided by 6 squared. If I simplified this, this is 1/3 r squared. I could leave it in terms of the r, or I could simplify it if I wanted to. This would become 3 times 1/6 r squared, which is going to be 3/6 r squared, which will give me 1/3 r squared. So I could either leave it in its original format, or I could simplify it down if I wanted to. This is the idea of a composite function, that I can take 2 or more functions and I can combine them together.